next show we're going to be talking about.
One everyone's looking forward to.
Yes, the one that is the most hype after Yuri on Ice has ended. It is Youjo Senki, or Saga of Tanya the Evil.
Just wow. This anime is just wow.
Yeah.
I am not, like, I usually don't like war type animes that are all about just like the war and stuff like that, but this is just nuts. And like the back, like even from the first episode, it grabs you.
Yeah.
And pulls you in. But then like after that, when you get to learn about like the backstory and everything, that just was like, oh, wow. So I mean, and learning more about it, you're seeing more about the character themselves, and I'm not necessarily sure. Part of me is already just going, okay, yeah, the character Tanya is just evil little hellion and whatnot. But at the same time, learning more about the character, I'm not quite thinking them as evil as originally intended.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting in that regards. Still freaking crazy little girl, and I sometimes stumble upon that, considering I know that originally before they were reincarnated, they were actually a guy, which makes it seem more just kind of like, what the hell?
Which is...
God, it's like every aspect of this, like literally every aspect of it, it's so, I appreciate how well thought out it is, in all honesty, from everything that they do. I mean, they took history, something we all know, and they twisted it. But they twisted it just enough to where it is barely recognizable. You can still recognize it, but it's also its own entity, which is great. And like the plot and how it's shaped is done so well, just so well. And that, I mean, to me, that's just like bravo on that whole, because I don't think it's been a while since I've actually literally seen an anime that has had a plot done to that degree. And it really has me curious as to what's going to happen next. I mean, without trying to give too much away for anyone who wants to watch this on their own, without spoiling things, because there's so many like twists and turns that occur, and the more you find out, the more you're just like, wow. And you know, just the quote unquote godly character that kind of integrates into it. I'm just, I'm like, oh, what's he gonna do now? What possible thing is this thing going to do now to mess with this other person? And it really has me curious as to what this being is, because is it quote unquote God, or is it just like a supreme type being who over the years has had like people worship it as such, and then now coming across somebody who analyzes that and goes, well, I don't believe that, and what about the infuriation that's being caused by the dude to this being that forces him to do the things that he did to this guy, and like reincarnating him in this world, and I like the fact that he goes, you don't have enough, there's not enough, I don't have enough faith because there's not enough strife. There's not enough, we have so many advances in our technology. I don't have any strife in my life. I don't have any despair, this, that, and the other thing. So there's no reason for faith for me to exist. And then literally dumps him in a world that is exactly that. War-strewn, so a lot of strife, made as an orphan. So therefore no one taking care of them. And like pretty much I want to say I don't quite want to say that it's, I guess it is more or less just like our time frame in that time, like the early 1900s kind of time frame. So there's not a lot of technological advancements kind of thing going on here. And yet at the same time, like made them into a girl, and I'm like, okay, now you're really trying to kick them in the teeth here, because had they been a guy reincarnated, they might have had life a little bit easier during that time frame. But no, we're gonna make him an orphan and a girl, and not only that, we're gonna make him a girl and not have him like be like a short little girl, and give him like an adorable little look so no one takes him seriously whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's just like everything this being could possibly do to really mess with this guy, he did, trying to do it, and I'm like, wow, holy crap, you really thought that thing out, and I'm like, I don't know. And so, I mean, and again, like, they does some pretty despicable things, like from the first episode, or was it the first episode or the second episode, when he sent the men to the like when they disobeyed it, or when they disobeyed her.
In the first episode.
Yeah. Like, that was pretty, like, okay. Yeah, and at the same time, like, okay, that was pretty evil, but at the same time, like, well, they did kind of disobey you, and this is a war situation here where you don't want to disobey your commanding officer because, well, they probably know what needs to be done, whatever. But even aside from that, it's like everything else from there, I can see where his reasonings is behind it, so I don't quite see him as being evil per se. I don't know, it's a very like weird line that we have on this, so it's just anyways, I mean, characters development fantastic, animation fantastic, god, like the effects that they've had, like when they were doing like that magic, particle magic and everything, and freaking explosion that hit, and like the nuke that freaking went off in the middle of the air, and I'm just like, holy crap, it looked amazing in that regards. Everything about it. So to me, I'm like, even though it's a war anime, and I'm not a fan of war animes, this is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
So I am absolutely loving this show as well. Like you said, the action that happens during the war is top notch. I am also not a fan of like anime that takes place during wartime, or something that's like really based in like the bureaucracy of the military and stuff like that. But there are shows that do stand out for me. So like before this anime, it was like Full Metal Alchemist. Yeah, they were alchemists, but it was basically the military. This show, it doesn't, I don't know, it focuses on the good parts of bureaucracy, I guess, or at least the parts that they make those parts entertaining, because she started out at the bottom. Like, she was in an orphanage. She joined when she was really young. I think they said she's like 10 years old now, and she's like rising in the ranks. And she has to be vicious to get people to take her at least a little bit serious, because if not, they're like, you're so cute. Go over there.
Yeah. Like she did in the training area at one time when someone disobeyed her and just like freaking threw him out the window and smashed him up, and it was like holding a rifle until she got. I'm like, all right, I understand you got to be vicious and everything, but wow.
Yeah, she takes it so far that they nicknamed her the Devil.
Yeah.
It's really a really interesting anime, and for them to explain, like when we read the synopsis, we were like, oh, she was a full-grown woman, and she must have like sent her troops into this one place and pissed off a god, and then he turned her into like a little girl, and now she has to like try to maintain her position. And the anime like did it completely differently, and like so well. And where
it's like it's almost it's hey, other animes out there, take note. This is how you do it. If you want to have a lot going on, but you want to have good pacing and where people can follow along with you, this is how you do it. Because there's so much going on, but you're following each and every part of it.
Yeah.
It's easy to follow. It's easy to keep up with. But God.
Now, are you current with this show?
Yes.
Okay. So, every time she thinks she's doing well, being X steps in and is like, no, you're not.
Yep.
And I assumed that in the latest episode that he was gonna step in again because she was doing well. She was like, oh, life is great. All I have to do is this, and this, and then once I graduate from school, then I can get this, and that. And then she ends up having a meeting with this one person, and she's like, oh, I gotta impress him.
That was Being X. You didn't catch that? That was Being X who made that meeting possible. That was Being X who pushed that commander. Because you notice in that scene right before that, he came in after they had all the colonels or whatever had their meeting. Uh-huh. He came into his office, and on his desk was a file.
Oh.
And what was written on the top of that file? God's will be. That's if you see that quote anywhere, that's he did that.
Okay. Yeah. So I thought that he would take more of a like direct approach to change.
He is.
What happened?
Okay. You gotta look at this, and I totally. This is why it really blows me away too. Whenever you think of any supreme being, any otherworldly supreme being, and especially when they think in the capacity of themselves as a godly being, they almost never take a direct role in anything. They are always behind the scenes, whispering whatever needs to be said to get you there. Mm. You know, it's just like, you know, and even though he was kind of direct in some ways, like Zeus, for instance, even from a guy like that, whenever he had one of his half-blood children and he wanted them to do something, he never came to them as Zeus. He always came to them as someone else, usually an old wise man or something like that, and always did something like that to push them in that direction. Being X believes themselves, whether they are or not, believes themselves to be a god. They will always do these things, like doing little nudges, like with the scientist doctor when he was like, I'm going to force him to kind of push this in there, just to push it in there, just a little nudge going, hey, do this. I put him in a dream and then do this. And then came to her and was like, okay, I made him do that. And in order for you to get out this, now you have to praise God, essentially. And she's, damn it. You know, there's no choice left, has to do that. Now here he is again. The commander comes in, sees that little note and goes, and now all of a sudden flips the paper over, sees her and goes, maybe I should talk with her. And it's just that idea sparks, and all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah, and with that, which is a cool, like, it makes perfect sense how, even with like with the devil, like he would take over somebody's body and like make hints, and he wouldn't actually directly do something. Yeah, even like the smartest villains never do it themselves, and like strong influencers, they never do it themselves. So for Being X to be like that makes perfect sense. One thing for her, usually she gets really, really cocky and he does something a bit more direct to kind of like knock her down a peg. With this one, she thought that she was going to get away scot-free, and she ends up meeting with the guy. And then in order to impress him, she shoves her foot right in her mouth and locks herself into something. And
I think he knew that. I think he knew that was going to happen. I think he knew that she was at that point once again, because that is always going to be her mentality of, when things are starting to go away, she's going to get too cocky about it. I mean, what's that happened when she went to the when she was told, oh, you're being taken away from the front lines, and now we're going to put you in research and development, and she was like, oh, I'm going to be safe there, and then she's like, oh, I shouldn't look too happy about it though, tone it down a little bit. And then she's thinking to herself, oh, I don't have to do anything with faith, with this, that, and the other thing. And then what ends up happening? Oh, now Being X intervenes once again, and here we go. And then she went taken to school and going, oh, I'm at school, I don't have to use that charm that forces me to praise God or whatever. Oh, this is going to be great. I can handle this. Yeah. Now you're going to be put smack dab in the worst situation that you're going to have to do that every time.
That you came up with because you're trying to impress your superiors.
Yep.
It is so good. I love the show.
Oh yeah. Like I said, it's the plot is so well done. It's just It's amazing how well crafted this is, and I can't wait to see how things are going to turn out. I'm torn. I'm literally torn between wanting to see Tanya succeed and outdo being X, and then wanting to see her fail.
Yes.
I'm torn. I mean, that's bad. I'm torn literally between what I want to see happen with this.
Because she takes success like she's never had it before. She's not like, ha ha, I'm better than you, but she's inside her head, she's like, ha, you dumb beings. So it's like, she deserves some of what she gets.
She does.
A lot of it's because she pissed off what's his name. So
yeah,
if she didn't do that in the first place.
No, it's just like, it's so hard because you're like looking at it going, okay, I almost see like even the extreme things that she does from time to time, and it's not she's extreme all the time. She's extreme sometimes, and it's even some of the extreme things she does. I'm kind of like, okay, I can kind of see reasonings behind that. I'm not like fully on board with you on that, but I'm like, all right, you had some reasonings to do that. I kind of see that, you know. And then like when those moments when things are going her way, I'm like, you know, you almost feel like, okay, this is almost like a success, not just for her, but for you. You kind of feel that shared. You're like, yeah, that's happening. I'm going to beat this. And then you're like, oh, here comes being X. And you're like, well, you kind of had that coming to you. Well, yeah, you know, you're like, it is so hard. I cannot say what it is. Like, normally on animes, I can tell you, like, even after this many episodes being like, okay, this is where I hope it's going to go. I do not know what I hope it's going to end up being. So I'm willing to write it out and see what the surprise is going to be.
I do like, what's her name? The other girl that showed
up. She tries so hard. And like just at, yeah, because I mean, you're current with that too, right?
Yeah.
Like that last part of the episode?
Yeah, where she just shows up.
Yeah, she just shows up and you're like, you're almost thinking to yourself, you're like, oh, yeah, you can install this. You don't have enough personnel. And all of a sudden, door opens, and immediately I'm like, oh, God. I know who it is. Oh, God. and again, that is her cockiness, because she filed for her to become an officer, so that way it looked better for her, and that she wasn't always being mean to all of her people. That was her reasoning behind it.
Yeah. So
now it's being turned back around because now, hey, look, someone who's willing to work with you and someone who wants to help.
And they're at their proper rank.
And they're at the proper rank because you put them there. It's so bad, but it's so perfectly done too. So
yeah. So this show is amazing. Recommend everybody check it out.
Absolutely.
If you're one of the few people who aren't already watching it.
If you can get beyond the battle situations and whatnot, it is definitely something worth watching.
That's something, and the dude shows up, the exorcist shows up again, and he's like, I need you to be my spirit pack. I'm like, you gave him 7 days! Like, he just left like 2 minutes ago. Why are you badgering him?
You were a demon. We didn't tell you. You were a half demon. Now you got to figure this stuff out like really quick, like super quick. Figure it out now.
Because they're attacking.
They're attacking. And they're like what? What the hell am I doing?